Hi, welcome to Boss City. I'm Brian, and we're going to be shining the album spotlight on the Monkees album, Changes. In 1970, when Changes, the Monkees' ninth album, was released, yet another Monkee was missing.
Mike? 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 Mike?
Michael Nesmith was recording his debut solo album at the same time that Davy and Micky were working on Changes. The terms of Mike's departure from the Monkees and Screen Gems required him to continue filming TV commercials with Davy and Micky for Kool-Aid. The use of his name and likeness in post-serial promotions were contractually obligated. Despite leaving the Monkees, Mike was still a Monkee in TV commercials and on the back of cereal boxes into 1971. But debuting in record stores in June 1970 were the Monkees Changes on Kool Gems Records, featuring just Davy and Micky, and Magnetic South by Michael Nesmith and the First National Band on RCA Records. Mike's album, a pioneer entry in the burgeoning field of country rock, far outsold the Monkees records. On the strength of the hit single Joanne, Magnetic South reached number 143 on the Billboard charts, while Changes did not chart at all. Changes found Davy and Micky reuniting with producer Jeff Berry, who had produced their biggest album, More the Monkees, and their biggest single, I'm a Believer. At the time, Jeff Berry was hotter than ever, having produced and co-wrote 1969's biggest single with Sugar Sugar by the Archies. At the time, he and his staff were working on projects by the Archies, Andy Kim, Bobby Bloom, Robin McNamara, the Clowns, and others. Sounds like a good plan, but in retrospect, what did the principal players think of the end result? Well, the project left a bitter taste in Davy's mouth. He was upset that Screen Gems made him pay for his daughter's airfare to accompany him to New York for the sessions, and he falsely believed that the songs were rejects from a failed Andy Kim project. Micky referred to Changes as a contractual obligation. Jeff Berry, in a recent interview, characterized the album as not very good. But let's turn the album spotlight on Changes and see for ourselves. Like the previous two albums, Changes is another mix of new songs and unreleased songs from the vault, dating back as far as 1966. At times, I hear an interesting blend of bubblegum and quasi-soul that tastes better on some tracks more than others. Other times, the songs meander and sound uninspired. I do enjoy listening to this album every so often. Micky and Davy are in fine form, but the album simply lacks a great song, and each previous Monkees album contained at least one bona fide gem. The album leads off with the best song on the album, Oh My My, written by Jeff Berry and Andy Kim. The track was originally recorded and intended for Bobby Bloom's debut album. Berry decided it could work better as a Monkees single, so he swapped out a song already recorded for Changes titled Heavy Makes You Happy and christened Oh My My a Monkee song, simply replacing Bloom's vocal with Micky's. Heavy Makes You Happy ultimately landed on Bloom's debut. 8 months later, a cover version of the song by the Staple Singers made it to number 27 on Billboard. Incidentally, Bloom's album also contained the top 10 hit Montego Bay. Too bad they did not give that one to the Monkees. As a composition, Oh Bye Bye is pretty bare bones, but it is made interesting by a compelling arrangement and Micky's outstanding vocal. This was the only single release from Changes. The song debuted in April 1970 on the CBS Saturday morning airing of the Monkees episode Monkees a la Mode. And Micky directed a promotional film for Oh My My featuring he and Davy riding motorcycles and horses. Oh My My briefly charted, peaking at number 98 on Billboard's singles chart. Next, we have Ticket on a Ferry Ride, written by Jeff Berry and Bobby Bloom. Ticket on a Ferry Ride is a nice, pleasant album cut with a folky vibe, but like a lot of songs on this LP, it seems unfinished, as the last minute of this 3-minute song is just Micky and the background singers repeating the title 12 times. Next up is Davy's first vocal on the album, You're So Good to Me, also written by Jeff Berry and Bobby Bloom. The use of the organ in this song gives it a soul flavor. So like a lot of this album, this bubblegum ditty's sparse arrangement doesn't sound as sweet or gooey as most bubblegum. Davy isn't given a whole lot to work with, but he does a good job. Davy only sings lead on one other new recording on Changes. It's Got to Be Love is next, written by Neil Goldberg with a lead vocal by Micky. With a full arrangement, this song could easily fit on an album by the Archies. Led by a catchy piano riff, this sparse arrangement of a simple song is charmingly likable. Part of Jeff Berry's deal with Goldberg and the other songwriters on his staff in 1970 was a provision that besides writing with and for him for all the albums he was producing, these writers would also receive his help on getting their own record deals. Berry did in fact produce a single for Goldberg and used one of his songs on a Dusty Springfield album that Jeff Berry produced. Acapulco Sun follows. The song is written by Ned Albright and Stephen Souls, two more of Berry's proteges. Micky's vocal is the highlight of this tropical flavored song. Like most of the songs on this album, I enjoy this song more listening to it within the context of the album as opposed to by itself. Later, this song's writers, Albright and Souls, released their own album as The Tidbits. Then Souls joined Bob Dylan's Rolling Thunder Band, which ultimately led to 3 Alpha Band albums with T-Bone Burnett and David Mansfield. His recording career was capped off with 2 contemporary Christian albums. 99 Pounds closes out side 1. Davy sings this track left over from the 1967 sessions for the 3rd single. But I bet that like A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You, Micky was supposed to be the lead singer on this. Micky had traveled to New York to sing lead on only A Little Bit Me, A Little Bit You for the A-side, and believing that the B-side then would contain one of the songs that the 4 Monkees had worked on and played the instruments on. But when he got to New York, he discovered that Kirshner had several additional songs ready and waiting for him to record. So Micky refused to sing on any of them. Davy stepped in and sang lead on most of them, including 99 Pounds. Although this song taxes Davy's rock vocal capacity, he and the other musicians exhibit such a high level of energy, this is one of the album's highlights. Do You Feel It Too, written by Jeff Berry and Andy Kim. This song is a cover of an Andy Kim song from his 1968 album, How'd We Ever Get This Way? This must be where Davy got the idea that they were doing Andy Kim retreads. The arrangement on Changes is almost identical to the original, but I like the Monkees version better. Davy's vocal is strong on this moody but catchy song. Next is I Love You Better, also written by Berry and Kim. This was released as the B-side to Oh My My. This song and 2 others were the only Monkees B-sides not to chart on their own on either the Hot 100 or the Bubbling Under chart. I think I Love You Better sounds more like a Monkee song than any other song from Changes. Micky sings lead with uncredited backing vocals that sound like they're from Davy, which would make this the only song with both Monkees on it. The lyrics are silly, but it has a nice groove, and it always sticks in my head after listening. After Oh My My, this is my favorite song on the album. Next up is All Alone in the Dark, which uses the instrumental tracks from a demo by writers Ned Albright and Stephen Souls. Jeff Berry surmised that it was adequate enough for the album and directed Micky to simply sing lead vocals on top. The country western / bluegrass flavored Midnight Train follows. written and produced by Micky Dolenz and recorded in 1969 during the Monkees Present sessions, featuring all-star Wrecking Crew members Hal Blaine on drums, Joe Osborne on bass, James Burton on banjo, and guitar by Louis Shelton. Midnight Train is a late 60s take on the traditional train song. Fun and interesting, but where this song would have fit nicely on Headquarters, here it seems out of place. Like most of the Changes songs, Midnight Train appeared on the CBS Saturday morning versions of the series, and its inclusion in the episode The Chaperone remained in the syndicated version and the MTV broadcast as well. It seems that there was an intention to include compositions by both Micky and Davy on this album. However, the last minute, Davy's Time and Time Again was pulled in favor of the next song. I Never Thought It Peculiar closes out the album. Recorded during the late 1966 sessions for More of the Monkees, it remained in the vault for 3.5 years. Written by Tommy Boyce and Bobby Hart, the song is a perfect vehicle for Davy Jones, a bouncy show tune style pop song that always has been a highlight to me. But like Midnight Train, it doesn't really match the overall sound of Changes. An alternate version of this song without the strings and horns was edited into the November 1969 CBS Saturday morning airing of The Frodis Caper. Upon its release, Changes did not make the Billboard album charts. And that's pretty wild because just 3 years earlier, they held the #1 spot on the Billboard album charts for 31 consecutive weeks, longer than any other act in the entire rock era. That's 1956 to the present. During the Monkees revival in 1986, as MTV was airing reruns of the series and Dolenz, Jones, and Tork were playing to sold-out crowds in stadiums and arenas across the nation, Rhino Records reissued the long-out-of-print Monkees albums, including Changes, which then spent 4 weeks on the album charts, peaking at number 152. It joined the first 4 albums and 2 greatest hits collections to give the Monkees 7 albums on the charts at the same time. Back then, this was uncommon and a good indicator how big Monkee Mania was in 1986. The reunion of Jeff Barry and the Monkees did not result in large record sales. So I think it's surprising that Screen Gems sent Davy and Micky back into the studio with him to record 2 more songs in September of 1970. The resulting songs, Do It in the Name of Love and Lady Jane, were not added to the TV reruns and were not released until April 1971. The 2 sides, which featured Davy and Micky sharing lead vocals, appeared on Columbia Pictures' follow-up label to Coal Jam's, Bell Records. And for whatever reason, it was credited as Micky Dolenz and Davy Jones. However, the duo were held in such low regard that Bell Records didn't even bother to spell check Micky's name. So he's credited as Micky, ending in EY instead of just Y. Do in the Name of Love, written by Bobby Bloom and Neil Goldberg, was covered by Candy Staton a year later and reached number 63 on the pop charts and made the top 10 on the R&B charts. Do It in the Name of Love and Lady Jane, along with Davy's Time and Time Again, have been included on reissues of Changes since the 90s. And I seem to enjoy all 3 of these songs better than a lot of what is on Changes. After winning a battle to take control of their music, it is ironic that the final Monkees LP from their original incarnation is a vocals-only affair, where they are singing to pre-recorded tracks that they had no input on whatsoever. However, Changes is an enjoyable album. Micky and Davy do a great job with the material, which is nowhere near the quality of their best songs. There's no Goffin and King, Man and Wild, Neil Diamond, not even Neil Sedaka, and certainly no Michael Nesmith compositions. Their catalog contains some of the best pop of the 60s, and these songs don't come close by comparison. That doesn't mean it isn't still fun to listen to. So what are your thoughts on Changes? Feel free to go ahead and let me know what your comments are on the Changes album. And any other feedback you have. And while you're at it, go ahead and like or subscribe. So that's going to wrap up this album spotlight on the Monkees Changes. I thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'll be on that midnight train. You take care, and I'll see you next time.